Hi everyone, in this problem we have an indefinite integral. It's sine x over 1 minus cosine squared of x. So the easiest way to do this problem is to use an identity, right? 1 minus cosine squared is sine squared, and go from there. And it's actually not that difficult of a problem. But in this video, I want to do it a different way. I want to do it using inverse hyperbolic trig functions. So there is a formula, and the formula says if you have du over 1 minus u squared. This is equal to the following. So you actually have two cases. So we have the inverse hyperbolic tangent of u plus c, and it'll be equal to this if the absolute value of u is less than 1. And the other case is it's the inverse hyperbolic cotangent of u plus c, and it'll be equal to this if the absolute value of u is greater than 1. So let's take this and manipulate it and then apply this formula. So to do that, we'll start by making a u substitution. We'll let u be equal to cosine of x. And then that means du, well, that's just negative sine x dx, because the derivative of cosine is negative sine. There's no negative in our integral, so we'll multiply by -1. So this is negative du equals sine x dx. It's actually pretty easy so far, this problem. So this is equal to, so sine x dx is going to be negative du, so I'll pull out the negative. And then we have du over 1 minus u squared. So which formula do we use? Well, we're looking at u equals cosine of x. So the absolute value of u, okay, is less than or equal to 1. Note, it can't be equal to 1 because that would be a problem because then you would get 0, right? If you have the absolute value of u equal to 1, then u is equal to plus or minus 1, and then you end up dividing by 0. So that's no good. So we're looking at the case strictly where it's less than 1. Otherwise, this doesn't make any sense. So this means that we're using this piece here. So directly applying this, we have negative tangent inverse of u plus c. So it's negative hyperbolic tangent inverse of, and then what was u? It was cosine of x plus c. So this is probably the harder way to do the problem. Again, another way to do it, let me just show you really quickly, would be to realize that 1 minus cosine squared is sine squared. So you would start it like this. Sine squared x is a little bit easier. And then sine over sine squared is 1 over sine x, like this. And then that's cosecant x. And then you just have to know the formula for cosecant. So this would be negative ln absolute value cosecant x plus cotangent x plus c. So that's another way to do it, much faster. But it does require this formula and it does require trig identity. So both ways, do require some work. I think this is the more obscure way of doing it, and that's this came from an old book from the 80s, and the section this came from was on hyperbolic functions. So I wanted to do it, in the spirit of that section, using the hyperbolic function, taking a hyperbolic approach. So two different ways to do the same problem. I hope this video has been helpful to someone out there in the world who's trying to learn some calculus. Good luck.